Hey, hey, Michelle here from SENSATE SOUL and Mr. Ollie in our little spot here, little contemplative spot on the path, little bench we like to stop at. It's a little bit of a warmer day today. Anyway, I wanted to just pop in here on this little soul stroll. Sorry, gonna get my glasses set up. So today in this video, we're going to talk about boundaries and the intention of, or shall I say, the energies of intention around your boundaries. I'm going to move a little here because that light is pretty bright. There we go, that works. Even though you can't see Mr. Ollie. So a really cool thing about boundaries, and I do teach classes on boundaries for empaths and HSPs, and for growing empreneurs. And the cool thing about boundaries, little Mr. Ollie, he has no boundaries right now. He's like, love me. Is that there's this intention that happens around our boundaries when we're willing to have them, when we make that decision to respect ourselves, to care for our edges, to respect that we have edges for a reason, and to know that we are, worthy and deserving of all of the reasons why we would want to have boundaries. And let me actually add something here, because often people think boundaries are about conflict and are about having some sort of problem, and you kind of need to pull up, tighten the belt, and push out the chest and have your boundary and just say no. And there are times for that. That is a type of boundary. So of course that does happen, but boundaries themselves in general are, as I see them, acts of self-empathy, self-love, and self-respect. And a boundary can be done very lovingly. A boundary can be done very kindly, empathically, sensitively, and also firmly, all at the same time. So we, many of us would call ourselves conflict avoidant, because who likes conflict? Some people do. Some people thrive on it. But generally, when we run away from it, when we fear it, that's when there's more problems, because then we're just in avoidance. But what I wanted to say here about boundaries, Mr. Ollie might have something to say about boundaries. Maybe I should have a boundary and stop filming my dog and talk about boundaries. But the thing is that when we do, you may have experienced this. Let me give an example here. You know how when you have this idea of you're going to make this big, you're going to take this big risk, you're going to do a leap of faith, or you're going to change a habit, or you're going to, say no to that person that you always say yes to and then feel bad about that. There can be this like preemptive energy, this preemptive, intention that happens, that when you decide on something on some level, then, a lot of people say the universe will test you. And some things will come in and be like, are you sure? When you were thinking that you wanted to talk to that person, and all of a sudden they show up and they do or say something that requires you to step up and have a boundary, or something changes in your life that kind of by fault forces you to take that next step, whether you thought you were ready or not. All of these things, I believe there's like this intention buffer zone, that when we start moving towards something, when we decide on something on some level, there's this buffer zone of intentional energy. And that's where these things come in and kind of give you a little proof of the pudding, or an opportunity to stretch your muscles. I don't like to think of it as much as some people say, the universe is just testing you to see if you got the chops. And I like to think of it a bit more of giving you an opportunity to see if you can, put your intention, your energy where your thoughts are, put your actions where your mouth is. as another saying. So sometimes just simply having the intention to have a boundary will start shifting the energy. And that's why this place of decision, this place of self-awareness, and being available, being receptive, which are very, often for empaths and HSPs, because we are often very available to these energies. That's the good thing, is because when you put your heart and mind into these kind of things, you kind of got an advantage being a highly sensitive person. So when you let yourself have a boundary, then that intention of having the boundary will start shifting things already. And so don't be surprised when that happens. And it's actually a really good thing, because it means that life is responding to you, and to your subconscious and also your conscious decisions. Now, of course, there's the other side of it, where there's the subconscious things that are being responded to as well, and that's the resistance. I believe that, when we have those kind of harder, what some people call tests, what I call opportunities, it's because we're feeding the resistance more than we are the possibility. Because life and energy reads energy neutrally. It's very unbiased. It's like, oh, you want to give a lot of resistance energy? Okay, well, there's going to be situations and things that are going to feed on that energy, or represent that energy. It's a better way to say it than feed. I'm always cautious about that with empaths and HSPs, because the whole thing about, vampiric energy feeding on us. So I just wanted to introduce this idea about, part of the work of having really good boundaries is this magical place of the buffer zone of intentional, of making the intention of changing some things and having some boundaries, and then life starts responding to us. And those are the beautiful places where we get to choose differently, and we get to practice and our convictions and our self-respect and our self-empathy. Really, to me, that's all boundaries come down to, is self-empathy. All right, so please do, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think about this topic. What does Mr. Ollie have to say about this? He's just resting. Okay, and so please do come on over as well to sensatesoul.com, where you'll find a lot of other different resources and courses and opportunities for a lot of good empath and HSP and empreneur intentions to grow in our empowerment and our self-awareness. All right, so much love. See you in the next video. Oh, and do join while you're over there so that you can get stuff that I only share through private emails. Okay, take care.